Welcome back to Teaching Jobs Korea, and we have another Hagwon to introduce everyone to, and the company that we would like to introduce today is a company called BIS English Academy, and BIS is not a big franchise school with only 2 locations, one in Seocho, which is the campus that we're going to show today, and also in Pundang, Gyeonggi-do as well. However, BIS has been in business for many years, which means that it provides a stable workplace, has a good program and good management, and today we're going to check out the Seocho campus. It is a morning to afternoon shift, which focuses on kinder elementary level, so let's go check it out. And joining us today to give us a tour of BIS Seocho campus is Danika Hill. How are you today?
I'm good.
So I guess how long have you been working in BIS?
At BIS, I've been here for 2 years.
2 years?
My 3rd year now, moving into my 3rd year now.
Okay, and then let's go check out the campus. And as we just walk in, it's a very spacious area for kids to run around, right?
Yeah, and they tend to do that when they're not in class.
How many classrooms are there here?
There are 13 classrooms.
13 classrooms? I would say it would probably occupy about like maybe 250 students or so.
Yeah.
How many native teachers are here?
There are 9, including myself, 9.
Okay. And then, yeah, it's a lot of open space. I guess the front desk office is right there. This is where they go to the bathroom, I guess, right? And then if you notice right here, I guess this would be like the play area where kids play during lunchtime?
Yes. Yeah. This is where we have the kindergarten students play when they finish eating lunch, and also in the morning when they finished homework. If they finish homework early, then they can come and play here whenever they're not doing homework.
I guess what would be the general working hours for teachers at this campus?
Generally, we start at 9:30, and then we work up until about 6:30. We also offer a homework class for students though, so if native teachers also help out with homework class, then they'll finish at 7:30.
I see. And then how many foreign teachers work at this campus?
There are 9, including myself at the moment.
So it's a pretty big campus, right?
Yeah. It's the biggest one I've worked at so far. Yeah.
And then I noticed at the library, they put it right here, which I guess this is where teachers can also get material to prep and also for the students to just do their reading time?
Yes, yeah. And the students do reading homework as well, so these are the books that they take home.
For this campus, there's a lot of programs, right? There's campuses where the teachers have their own classroom, and there's also campuses where you kind of hop classes. I guess what type of system does BIS offer?
Well, for kindergarten, each of the native teachers have a homeroom, but we hop around classrooms. We teach nearly all of the teachers nearly teach all of the classes, so we see a lot of students in one day because program we like to get to know all of the students and try to connect and build a connection with them.
What would be the age group of students that generally attend BIS?
Well, we teach kindergarten and elementary.
Yeah.
The youngest kids are 5, and then the oldest can be about 11.
11, okay, so all of elementary basically. I guess, where's your classroom? Can we go check out your classroom?
Well, my classroom is currently being occupied by some students in a class, but we can use my students' homework classroom right now.
So Danika, thank you again for taking the time to speak to us. And I guess this is like an empty classroom, right? Normally the other classrooms that are usually occupied, they would have a lot of different, like I guess things that kids made, art crafts. Yeah, usually lots of arts and crafts and general decorations that help prompt the kids in conversation, like circle time conversation, things like colors, the usual stuff for a classroom. I guess for the classroom size, generally how many students would be in one classroom?
In one class, there's a maximum of 10 students.
10 students. I would say, would you say that it's pretty manageable as a teacher with 10 students?
Yeah, I think so. I personally think so. Yeah.
And just getting to know you a little bit, I guess you've been here for 3 years now, right, in Korea?
Yes, this is my 3rd year in Korea, yes.
How do you like it so far?
I like it a lot, actually. Naturally, like with coming to a new country at first, it can be a bit daunting, but now I feel comfortable and I'm really enjoying like just my general life here actually.
And I guess where did you come from? What country are you from?
I'm from Australia.
Ah, down under.
Yeah.
I guess when you came out here, I guess was it a big culture shock to many things?
There wasn't a huge culture shock actually. The first time I felt culture shock was when I first moved here. It was around coronavirus time. So when I first came here and I got COVID for the first time and I had to go to the hospital by myself, that was kind of the first time that I got culture shock because it was just a new experience. I wasn't that familiar with hearing Korean that much, so being in a hospital setting with hearing Korean.
Well, just to be fair, at that time period, nothing was normal.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
That's when we had to do like quarantine. It was terrible.
Yes. When I came here, I had to do quarantine. So that kind of was a little bit shocking, but I haven't had many experiences where I felt overly culture shocked.
I guess what kind of sparked your interest for like teaching in Korea from the get-go?
Well, I always wanted to work abroad and I was a dance teacher before I came here, so I had some experience with teaching younger kids and older people as well. So during COVID times, I kind of got into like the Korean content that everyone kind of gets into, and then I went more into like the art culture, and it just seems like a very interesting place to be, so I just thought, why not do teaching but in Korea? So
and I know that you started here like 2 years ago, and I guess you recently recontracted, right, for a second year?
Yes, yeah, correct.
And where did you work at before you came to BIS?
Before I came here, I worked at hagwon in Paju.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, very different in terms.
Yes, it was much quieter there than it is in Seoul.
Yes, was it a very hard transition from moving from such a quiet place to like a busy city like Seoul?
It wasn't too bad actually, because I'm in Australia. I'm originally from a quiet town, and then I moved to a city, so it was kind of the same experience, just in another country.
But I bet the transportation system was a lot more convenient here, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, in Seoul it's much more convenient.
Now, teaching like kinder level kids, I think it takes a certain type of teacher to be a good kinder teacher, I think, right?
Yeah.
I guess from your experience of teaching young kids, I guess, what do you like most about interacting with the young learners?
For me, working with young learners, it's a bright experience. So I personally, I really liked that, because being a dance teacher before, you're kind of used to like high energy kind of in the class.
Do you teach your students any dance moves?
Unfortunately not. I would love to.
Do the students know that you were a dance teacher before?
Some of them do actually. Yeah. But yeah, the high energy of body language helps a lot when you're teaching young learners. So it doesn't go to waste, my dance experience.
I guess the perception of teaching before coming out and the actual, the reality of teaching, was it a big gap of what you expected, or was it more than what you had expected?
It was kind of the same as what I was expecting actually. I did quite a bit of like research and study before I came, so it wasn't too shocking.
Okay. I guess that's definitely a good pointer to give to the audience, is just do some research before you come out.
Oh yeah, that definitely will help the culture shock of coming to a new country.
I guess what would you say would be the best part about living in Korea compared to, Australia?
For me, I think the variety of activities that you can do outside of work, even like as an adult, doing even the hobbies that you can do here are much more interesting than what I had experienced back home. Yeah, I think there are a lot more variety in activities.
Especially living in Seoul too. I mean, it's just anything that you want to do that's just activity-wise.
Yeah, there's always something happening. So.
And it's open very late too. Like Australia, I heard everything closes at like 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah, it closes very early.
I guess, did it take some time to get used to like the time? Because, I think in Korea, everyone kind of stays up later. And like even for kids, like, they don't go to sleep until they probably don't get home until like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, very different to Australia. Even when I came here, even cafes and things opening later, because everything in Australia opens very early. Everyone's just a morning person, they like to go out and do sports and things like that. But coming here was kind of an adjustment, that getting up a bit later.
I guess it was a good adjustment, right?
Yeah, it was kind of nice actually.
I guess, were there anything like hard to get adjusted to when you came out? Like obviously language barriers had to be there, culture barriers, also like transportation, navigating your roads, right? I guess what was like the hardest thing to kind of just navigate through when you first came out here?
For me, when I went out to eat at restaurants, the hardest thing was communicating my allergies actually. I don't know if that's like a weird thing to say, but that was the hardest thing to adjust to, like trying to get confident enough with speaking Korean to be able to communicate my.
You know what's worse though is doing it on those automated machines. You gotta like, right?
Yeah, because then I have to, because I've got quite a severe allergy to nuts and peanuts, so communicating that to the people at the restaurant and then like ordering on the screen, it was kind of a daunting experience.
What about the food here? Like, was it very hard to adjust to like the spicy, like what, have you tried different types of Korean food?
Yeah, I actually quite like spicy food, so it was fine for me. But when my family came to visit, my dad's not great with spicy food, so he had a hard time. But for me, it was fine.
What's like the most spiciest dish that you have eaten?
I've not tried to test my spice tolerance.
And what about like really spicy tteokbokki? Can you handle that?
For the tteokbokki that I have eaten, I have handled it well, but I don't think it's been the spiciest tteokbokki.
And I guess the other thing would be like raw, fish and raw.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I ate that quite a bit back home anyway, so it was fine.
I guess just about the BIS program, I guess what are some of the things that BIS focuses on in their curriculum in teaching the students?
Well, we use a lot of textbooks to teach a variety of different subjects like science and art and things like that. So we try to use those textbooks as a basis to really converse with the kids and try to interact with them and get them speaking about different topics. That's probably very important.
So I would say it's pretty general, right? Like reading, speaking, writing, listening.
Yeah, reading, speaking, writing, listening, like they're obviously the core. And then with the other subjects that we have, like art and science, that's like the chance to use those core skills to really venture out.
And then also being that it's Seocho and the area that the Hagwon is located in, I would say it's pretty competitive, right?
I believe so. I mean, the students are really busy.
What about comparing it to like how it was in Paju and how it is in Seocho? Would you say that it's maybe a level up in terms of competitiveness?
I would say, like, I noticed the busyness of the students here more so than I did in Paju before. The students seem to be a little bit more relaxed in Paju, but here they're much more busy. the bags of books are bigger.
Also, I think the parents' expectations are just slightly a little bit higher in this area too.
Actually, in my experience, both places were kind of the same.
Oh, so parents are the same.
Yeah. I would say even in Australia, parents are kind of, they expect like the best for their kids. Like naturally, I think it's natural instinct for parents. Yeah.
I guess how much more longer do you plan to stay in Korea for?
I don't really have an end date. Sorry, parents, but I don't really have an end date. Like I'm really enjoying my experience here. So if I can continue doing this, I'd be really happy to do that.
I guess like teacher and like their salary and kind of living in Seoul, right? I know that teachers don't make a whole lot of money, but then at the same time, the rent is paid for at the housing. I guess, is it pretty manageable to still be able to like do activities, have like hobbies, and then also like transportation costs, food costs? Would you say it kind of balances out pretty?
Yeah, for sure. I have had no troubles with that. Like everything, like even food costs here are really, like in comparison to Australia, really cheap. So even if you want to go out and do everything on the weekend, it's still fine in my experience.
And then I guess there's going to be a lot of new teachers coming out, and I guess just to give some tips for awareness so that to just kind of help them when they come out here. I guess what are some key pointers that you can give to teachers coming out for the first time?
I think doing research before you come is very helpful, and also just knowing like what you want to get out of your teaching experience, and also like what kind of teacher you want to be as well. Like there are obviously different kinds of schools, like a variety of different kinds of hagwons. So I guess just like figuring out like if you want like a play-based school, or like if you want to be teaching like in a more structured setting, or I think that would be helpful to know, so then you can like, because working in Korea is quite busy naturally, I think everyone knows that. I think that helps you remain motivated if you're in an environment that you really like.
I guess if you had a choice between teaching like all day kinder or all day elementary, which do you prefer teaching?
That's a hard question. That's a hard question, because I really like teaching both, because they both have their perks. Like with the really young learners, like you kind of see them grow up, like if you teach them from 5 until 7 when they graduate, it's a really like you kind of get an emotional experience out of it, because you see them like develop their personalities. But then with elementary, like everyone has like a strong personality already, so then you can kind of converse with them and talk about different things. So I think that's a really hard question.
Plus, I think with the older kids, like elementary, the teaching is a little bit more structured, and it's a little bit more in line with what you need to do.
Yeah.
I think with the kinder, it's just a little bit more freestyle, of course, creative, productive interaction, basically. Right?
Yeah. So
simple content.
Yeah, so it's different.
Well, thank you, Danika, for taking time today. It was really a pleasure seeing you again after 3 years. Right. And then I hope the audience enjoyed today's interview and introduction of BIS English Academy in Seocho, and we'll be back with more videos. Thank you, and we'll be back.